afternoon, ma'am. Hello, guys. This is Varun. In this video, I'll be explaining about the important points that should be taken while writing a judgment rating. First, for that, we need to analyze what is the main purpose of this judgment rating. This main purpose of the judgment is to communicate to the parties and other stakeholders that the decision of the court is regard to the litigation. A judgment acts as a precedent and therefore it should carry the message with very posterity. It should be understandable by even those who have lost in the case, and it should be understood by even as a layman. So how to begin with this judgment? A judgment must begin with a clear recital of the facts of the case. It must contain the cause of action, and it also contains the manner in which the case has been brought to the court. First of all, the presiding officer must have essential facts in mind, and in narration it should be without any error or mistake. Presiding officer is required to tell the parties of the decision on the facts brought before him with application of sound principles of law and his decision, and what the parties are supposed to do as necessary consequent to the decision or appeal against it. Now the next we need to consider what is language and what is the style of a judgment. As I said earlier, the proper use of English creates a good impact. While writing a judgment, a judge shall give a brief prologue to introduce the theory of the case. The judge should also avoid repeating pleadings and the law in the judgment. It must also be taken into account that the presiding officer should set the scene simply and clearly. No long, winding and boring sentence should be written in the judgment. A judge may write the judgment in a style he is comfortable with. It is advised to use a clear structure and organization. It is better to identify the characters before telling what they did. It is desirable to use a spot citation like exact pages. Be formal, clear and simple and free of unwanted sentence. It is always better to use a plain English. Of course, Latin phrases may be used sparingly. Next, I will move directly into the language of the judgment. Section 354 of CRPC prescribes the language of the judgment and requires the points for determination and the decision thereon, the reasons for the decision, that it shall be dated and signed in open court. The Lordship has observed as follows: like the justice system ceases to be functional if the courts do not make the technology of statutory construction serve to the betterment of our society. And other important points that should be taken care is framing issues. And before framing issues, there is a purpose of setting out the points for determination, and there is also a burden of proof and application of the law to the facts of the case has to be mentioned, and it is the obligation to avoid loading judgment with citations and authorities. These are some of the other important points. Thank you.